There's a moment, right before everything goes wrong, where you get to decide who you are. Not who you say you are, not who you pretend to be when life is easy, but who you really are when the pressure hits, when things fall apart, when the storm shows up uninvited. And in that moment, most people panic. They lose themselves. They say things they regret. They make decisions they can't take back. And then they wonder why their life feels like it's on fire. But there are a few, just a few, who don't move, who don't flinch, who don't raise their voice or break their rhythm. They stay calm, focused, still. And because of that, they win. The world doesn't teach you to be calm. It teaches you to react, to lash out, to get emotional, to take everything personally. It teaches you to be a slave to your triggers. But let me tell you something. Calm is not weakness. Calm is not surrender. Calm is control. The loudest person in the room isn't always the strongest. The fastest decision isn't always the right one. And the biggest reaction doesn't make you powerful. It makes you vulnerable. You think your strength is in how fast you respond? No. Your strength is in how still you can remain when everything else is shaking. That's not something you're born with. That's not luck. That's training. You train your body to be strong. You train your hands to build. But have you ever trained your mind to be calm? Have you ever built that kind of control? That kind of peace that doesn't waver just because the world is falling apart? That's what this is about. This isn't a pep talk. This isn't noise. This is mental warfare. Because if you don't train your mind, the world will train it for you. If you don't learn to stay calm in chaos, then chaos will become your normal. And you'll be tossed around by life like a leaf in the wind, never in control, always reacting. But not you. Not anymore. Because today, we start the work. Today, we build the calm that can't be shaken. Today, we train the mind to stay calm in every situation. And when you can do that, there is nothing that can stop you. Let's begin. Most people think staying calm means you're soft, that you're not passionate enough, not aggressive enough, not emotional enough. They think calm people don't care, or that they're detached. But they've got it all wrong. Staying calm isn't weakness, it's mastery. It's having every reason to explode, every reason to panic, every reason to fold, and still choosing control. That's not softness. That's strength on a whole other level. Anyone can be loud. Anyone can react. Anyone can slam doors, raise their voice, or type angry paragraphs online. That's easy. That takes zero discipline, zero power. But to stay calm when your emotions are begging for attention, that's skill, that's strategy, that's self-respect. You've got to understand, being calm doesn't mean you're not feeling the pressure. It means you're bigger than it. It means you've trained yourself to sit in the fire without becoming it. It means you've taken the time to understand that emotional outbursts don't solve problems. They create them. People who confuse calm with weakness have never had to lead in chaos. They've never had to carry others through the storm. Because when the heat comes, when the pressure rises, people don't follow the loudest voice. They follow the calmest one. The one who can see clearly. The one who isn't ruled by ego, fear, or anxiety. Staying calm doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're precise. You're surgical with your energy. You don't waste it on things that don't deserve it. You don't give your power to every little insult, every inconvenience, every delay. You reserve your strength for the things that matter. That's what mastery looks like. Think about the greatest warriors, the most legendary leaders, the most composed athletes. They're not frantic. They don't scream. They don't overreact. They move with calm, focused energy. Because they know if you lose your cool, you lose your clarity. And if you lose your clarity, you lose your edge. A calm mind is a prepared mind. It sees things others don't. While everyone else is distracted by emotion, the calm one is scanning the terrain, reading the room, calculating the next move. It's not that they don't feel the emotions. They just don't let the emotions drive. That's the difference. And here's the truth. The more calm you become, the more dangerous you are. Not because you're violent, but because you're focused, because you're hard to shake, because your energy can't be manipulated. You become the one who sets the tone instead of absorbing everyone else's. But you don't wake up with that kind of calm. You train for it. Every time life throws you a curveball and you resist the urge to react, you build strength. Every time someone disrespects you and you choose grace over chaos, you're getting sharper. Every time you feel panic rising in your chest and you breathe instead of break, you're leveling up. This isn't about staying calm because it looks good. This is about staying calm because it works. Because chaos is expensive. Reacting recklessly costs you relationships, opportunities, peace, and progress. But calm buys you time. It buys you clarity. It gives you an edge that emotion never could. So no, calm isn't weakness. Calm is having the power to tear it all down and choosing to build instead. It's knowing you could win the argument, but choosing to win your peace. It's understanding that presence beats panic every single time. You want to master your life? Master your reactions. Master your mind. Learn to stay calm in moments that used to break you. Because the calmest person in the room isn't the one who doesn't care. It's the one who's already calculated every outcome and still chooses peace. That's not weakness. That's not retreat. That's mastery. Every moment of your life, you are either trained or you're triggered. There is no in between. When life happens, when pressure shows up, when things don't go your way, when someone disrespects you, when failure stares you in the face, you're going to fall back on something. You're either falling back on your training or you're falling apart because of your triggers. This is the truth people don't want to face. They think they can just wing it. They think they can drift through life, avoid the hard inner work, and still show up calm and composed when the storm comes. But that's not how it works. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your preparation. You don't perform at your best when stress hits. You perform at your most practiced. So when you explode in traffic, when you shut down during conflict, when you spiral the moment life touches your insecurities, that's not just bad luck. That's a lack of training. Because calm isn't natural. Focus isn't automatic. Emotional control doesn't show up when you need it most. It shows up because you practiced it when you didn't. You got to train your mind the same way an athlete trains their body, daily, relentlessly. Not when it's convenient, not when you feel inspired, but every day, quietly, internally, over and over. That's how calm is built. Through repetition, through self-awareness, through intentional discomfort. You train your mind in the silence so it knows what to do in the chaos. Most people walk around triggered and they don't even know it. They're reacting all day long, reacting to people, reacting to news, reacting to stress, reacting to the past, reacting to the fear in their own head. They think they're living, but really they're just surviving. Every button gets pushed, every emotion gets unleashed, every situation owns them, and they wonder why peace feels so far away. Peace isn't far. It's just buried under all the stuff you haven't dealt with, all the wounds you haven't healed, all the patterns you haven't broken. That's what triggers are, untrained responses rooted in unhealed places. You're not crazy, you're just untrained. You're not weak, you've just never taught your mind another way to respond. But you can train it. That's the good news. You can rewire your mind to pause instead of panic, to breathe instead of break, to respond instead of react. You can build new patterns, new defaults, new pathways. But it takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes honesty. You've got to start catching yourself in the small moments, in the tension, in the discomfort. You've got to start paying attention to your reactions, your triggers, your thoughts. And instead of letting them own you, you stop, you slow down, you question them, you replace them. That's training. That's how the shift begins. And over time, something incredible happens. The things that used to rattle you, they lose their grip. The situations that used to break you, they become your training ground. You start to feel the trigger rise, and instead of exploding, you stay steady. Instead of collapsing, you get curious. Instead of reacting, you lead. That's the difference between someone who's constantly in survival mode and someone who walks through fire like it's home. One is triggered, the other is trained. You get to choose which one you become. But make no mistake, life will test you. Pressure will come. The moment will arrive when everything is on the line, and how you respond will determine what happens next. That moment won't wait for you to feel ready. So the question is, will you be trained or will you be triggered? Because if you haven't trained, life will expose it. And if you have trained, if you've done the work, stayed in the gym, sat in the silence, fought your inner battles, then nothing can shake you. You don't need to react. You've already rehearsed the response. Calm isn't luck. Calm is earned. And the ones who train, those are the ones who win. Your peace is your power, not your money, not your titles, not how many followers you have, not how loud you are, how busy you look, or how fast you move. It's your peace. That calm, steady, unshakable stillness inside you. That's what gives you real power. That's what separates you from the crowd. Because in a world addicted to noise, movement, and chaos, peace is rebellion. Most people don't know peace. They know distraction. They know pressure. They know emotional roller coasters. But peace is foreign. Because peace isn't passive. It's earned. It's not what you find on a vacation or in a moment of silence. It's what you build when everything around you is screaming and you choose not to scream back. See, peace doesn't mean the storm isn't there. It means the storm doesn't live in you. It means you're rooted, grounded, settled. While the world panics, you're thinking. While people argue, you're listening. While they rush, you move with purpose. Peace gives you clarity. It clears the mental fog. It sharpens your focus. It lets you hear what others miss and see what others overlook. When you have peace, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to react to everything. You don't let people's energy hijack your own. You don't give away your emotions like loose change, because peace is expensive. It costs you your ego. It costs you your triggers. It costs you that part of yourself that always wants to be right, always wants to clap back, always needs to win the moment. But when you trade those things in, you gain something better, power over yourself. That's the highest level. Not power over others. Power over you. Power over your mind, your thoughts, your emotional state. That's what peace really is. Inner control. And when you have that, people can throw anything at you and it won't stick. You stop getting pulled into every fire. You stop responding to every insult. You stop defending yourself to people who aren't even listening. You walk different when you have peace. You speak slower. You move smarter. You don't let urgency become your master. You don't let every little thing turn into a crisis. Because peace keeps you in your seat. It keeps you aligned with your purpose. It reminds you, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to match every emotion someone throws at you. You're in charge now. Without peace, you lose energy fast. You're always tense, always thinking 5 steps ahead, always reacting. But with peace, you conserve your strength. You don't waste energy on things that don't move you forward. You stay in control. And when you're in control, you're dangerous. Not because you're aggressive, but because you're undisturbed. Peace gives you power in the boardroom. Peace gives you power in your relationships. Peace gives you power on the field, in the gym, in the middle of your most stressful day. Because the person who is calm under pressure always has the advantage. Always. So if you want to become unstoppable, don't just train your body. Don't just chase money. Train your peace. Protect it like a treasure. Guard it like your future depends on it. Because it does. Every day, you'll be tested. Life will try to steal your peace. The world will hand you distractions and chaos like candy. People will throw drama your way just to see if they can get a reaction. But you don't have to take the bait. You don't have to engage. You don't have to prove anything. Silence can be strength. Stillness can be strategy. And peace is your secret weapon. Don't just chase power. Become it. And it starts the moment you choose peace again and again. No matter what comes your way. The mind is a muscle. And just like any muscle, it won't grow unless you put it under pressure. It won't develop unless you push it past comfort, past ease, past what's familiar. Everyone wants a strong mind, but not everyone wants to train it. Everyone wants mental clarity, discipline, peace, and focus. But few are willing to do the daily reps it takes to build that power. You don't stumble into a strong mind. You forge it in the fire, through repetition, through resistance, through intentional effort, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, because your mind is training all the time. Either you're training it with purpose, or the world is training it for you with chaos. The problem is, most people spend more time training their bodies, polishing their image, or chasing temporary highs than they do sharpening their mind. But your mind is the control center. If it's weak, everything else follows. If your mind collapses under pressure, your body can't carry you. If your mind caves when the plan breaks, no strategy can save you. Everything starts with the mind. That's why it must be trained ruthlessly. You want a calm mind? Train it through discomfort. Sit in silence when your instincts want distraction. Stay focused when your impulses scream for escape. Wake up early when your body tells you to rest. Read when your brain wants noise. That's how you build mental muscle. That's how you make calm your default. Not because life is easy, but because you're built for difficulty. Repetition creates rhythm. You think one meditation session will give you peace? You think journaling for a week will give you control? No, it's reps. It's every day, over and over, until you rewire the circuits of your thinking. Until reacting isn't your first move. Responding is, until emotion doesn't overpower you. Awareness does. You train your mind when you get uncomfortable on purpose. When you expose yourself to challenge, not avoid it. That's how resilience is formed. That's how focus becomes a weapon. Every time you go through a stressful moment and you breathe instead of break, you just lifted mental weight. Every time you stay calm while everything around you loses control, you just added mental mass. That's what training looks like. It's not pretty. It's not loud, but it's powerful. You also have to feed your mind like a muscle. Garbage in, garbage out. You can't expect to be mentally sharp when all you consume is noise, drama, negativity, and mindless entertainment. Your inputs shape your thoughts. If you're always feeding your mind junk, don't be surprised when it performs like junk. You want strength? Feed it discipline. Feed it wisdom. Feed it truth. And here's the key. Your mind doesn't just grow from pressure, it grows from recovery too. You've got to learn when to shut it down, when to rest, when to reset. But don't confuse rest with escape. Don't confuse stillness with avoidance. True mental rest is intentional. It's quiet, not empty. It recharges you so you can come back stronger, sharper, and more grounded than before. Training your mind ruthlessly doesn't mean being cruel to yourself. It means being honest. It means no longer making excuses for undisciplined thinking. It means you stop tolerating a mind that wanders into self-doubt, fear, and insecurity without checking it. It means you don't just let your thoughts run wild, you lead them, you direct them, you condition them to serve your purpose, not sabotage it. And when your mind is trained, it doesn't flinch under fire. It doesn't get thrown off by chaos. It doesn't break when plans change. It adapts. It solves. It leads. That's what mental mastery looks like. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being in control. It's about being dangerous in the best way, calm, clear, calculated. So stop waiting for peace to arrive on its own. Train for it. Stop hoping for focus. Build it. Stop reacting to life. Condition your mind to command it. Because your results don't come from what you do once in a while. They come from what your mind does daily. So show up. Do the reps. Train your mind like your life depends on it. Because it does. Reacting is easy. It's instant. It's emotional. It feels good for a second. Someone says something you don't like, and you snap. Life throws a curveball, and you panic. A plan falls apart, and you spiral. That's reaction. It's quick, raw, and almost always costly. But responding is what separates the average from the excellent, the reactive from the respected, the triggered from the trained. When you react, you're not in control. Your emotions are, your fears are, your ego is. Reaction is survival mode. It's your brain on autopilot, doing what it's always done. There's no power in that. There's no leadership. Reaction is loud. It's clumsy. It turns small problems into bigger ones. And most of all, it steals your clarity. You can't think straight when you're reacting. You can't make good decisions when you're stuck in a loop of emotional chaos. You lose your edge the moment you lose your composure. But when you respond, you pause. You breathe. You step back from the moment long enough to see it for what it really is, not what your emotions say it is. You ask yourself, what matters right now? What's the best move? Not just the loudest one. That's where the power is. That's where leadership lives. That's where you win. The strongest person in the room is not the one who talks the most or moves the fastest. It's the one who thinks the clearest under pressure. the one who doesn't let emotion write the script, the one who understands every moment you lose to reaction is a moment you give away your power. But when you respond, when you choose control over chaos, you flip the script. You take the energy and direct it rather than be consumed by it. Responding means being intentional. It means being self-aware. It means you don't let every trigger own your time, your focus, or your peace. And it doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't let what you feel decide who you are in that moment. Let's be real. There will always be things trying to pull a reaction out of you. People will test you. Life will frustrate you. Setbacks will happen. Traffic, insults, delays, failure. It's all coming. But you have a choice. Every single time, you can be reactive, or you can be strategic. You can explode, or you can execute. You can lash out, or you can level up. A reaction might satisfy your ego, but a response serves your mission. A reaction gets you temporary relief, but a response gets you long-term results. One is emotional relief. The other is emotional discipline. This isn't just about staying calm. It's about staying effective. Responding gives you the advantage because it keeps your vision clear. When you can see clearly, you don't just survive moments, you dominate them. While others waste energy reacting to things that don't matter, you're already 3 steps ahead, focused on the outcome. People who respond are trusted. They're respected. They're the ones others look to in crisis. Because everyone else is losing their mind, and they're the ones holding the line, making moves, keeping the team together, solving the problem. You want to build something great in this life? Learn how to keep your mind calm and your response deliberate. That takes practice. That takes training. Every time you resist the urge to react, you build strength. Every time you choose silence over shouting, composure over chaos, wisdom over impulse, you're winning battles no one even sees. This isn't about pretending to be unbothered. This is about being undistracted. It's about knowing that your energy is too valuable to be thrown away on things that don't move you forward. And that when you respond, really respond, you're not just controlling the moment, you're controlling the trajectory of your life. So the next time you feel the pull to react, stop, breathe. Ask yourself, what would the focused version of me do right now? Then do that. That's where the growth is. That's where the strength is. That's where you win. You've heard it. You've felt it. Now the question is, will you live it? Because calm isn't something you wait for. It's not something life hands you when things finally go your way. Calm is something you create, something you earn, something you train for, daily, when no one's watching. The world will keep pushing your buttons. Life will throw storms your way. People will test your patience, challenge your emotions, and try to pull you into their chaos. But none of that has power over you unless you give it permission. You were not built to break. You were built to lead, to stand still when others run, to breathe when others choke, to respond with strength when everything around you is screaming for reaction. So train your mind, ruthlessly, intentionally. Train it to stay calm, not just in comfort, but in conflict, in the fire, in the pressure, in the silence between your fear and your purpose. Because the person who controls their mind controls their life. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just be the one who stays calm. And that calm will move mountains. So from this moment forward, carry your peace like a weapon. Walk into chaos like it owes you nothing. React to nothing. Respond to everything with purpose, with clarity, with control. That's your power. That's your edge. Train your mind to be calm in every situation, because the calmest one in the room is the one who wins. Every single time.